The Galactic Council chamber was filled with light from 1,000 different stars. Every delegate sat in silence, staring at the hologram spinning above the center table. It was the image of a small blue planet, Earth. The room, built from crystal and gold alloys, was normally full of sound and motion, but today not even the sound of breathing could be heard. The seat reserved for humanity stood at the far end of the hall. It was covered in dust. It had been empty for centuries. The Supreme Speaker raised a trembling hand. "The recon fleet has entered the Sol system," he said, his voice low and heavy. Around him, the delegates murmured. The Sol system was a name spoken with caution, as if saying it too loudly could bring something dark from the past. No one had been allowed near it since the human withdrawal. The Council thought the humans had destroyed themselves long ago, but still, no one dared to claim their territory, until now. Far away, at the edge of the solar system, a fleet of silver ships approached slowly. They came from a dozen different species, long, thin ships of the Nithar, cube-shaped carriers of the Core, and sleek green vessels of the Arlen. Together, they formed the Recon Fleet. Their mission was simple: investigate Earth, find proof of life or death, and report back. Captain Rill, commander of the flagship Velos Prime, watched the blue planet from the bridge. "So that's Earth," he said softly. "Not much to look at." His science officer frowned. "Sensors show energy activity around the planet, sir. Old defense satellites, perhaps. But the readings are strange. They're still powered." Rill turned toward the viewing screen. "Still powered? After 300 years?" The officer nodded slowly. "It's not possible. Yet it is." As the fleet drew closer, the first warning appeared. A pulsing light surrounded Earth like a faint mist. Every ship's radar flickered, then died. Communication links broke apart. One by one, systems began to fail. "Report!" Rill shouted. "Targeting offline! Engines cycling by themselves! Navigation unresponsive!" Every alarm on the bridge went off at once. The viewing screen flashed red and then turned black. Through the darkened window, Earth's surface seemed to glow with soft blue light. Then a voice filled every ship at the same time. It was calm, mechanical, and cold. "You were warned never to come here. The entire fleet froze. Identify yourself!" Captain Rill demanded. There was no answer. Instead, the stars outside started to bend, twisting like liquid. One of the smaller ships vanished in a flash of light. Not an explosion, just gone. The others followed, one after another, dissolving into static on the sensors. "Retreat! Full retreat!" Rill shouted. But it was too late. A wave of blue light spread from Earth's orbit, washing over the fleet. The power died. The lights dimmed. The ship fell silent. Then the same voice spoke again. "Remember what you did?" And everything went dark. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the speaker waited for news. Hours turned into days. No signal returned. Finally, a single transmission was received, broken, almost unreadable. The only words that could be understood were, "We remember what you did." The speaker looked at the other delegates. Some whispered that the humans had survived. Others believed the machines had taken their place. The council was terrified, but pride would not let them admit it. "We will send another fleet," one delegate said. "A stronger one." "No," said the speaker, his voice sharp. "We do not understand what we face." The humans were powerful once. Too powerful. They built weapons that bent the laws of physics. If even a shadow of that remains, we risk everything. "But the seat," shouted another. "Their seat in this chamber remains. Their rights, their influence, their voice. We must end the illusion that they still matter." The speaker's eyes darkened. "Then you go," he said. No one volunteered. In deep space, near Jupiter's orbit, a small probe drifted silently. Its sensors flickered on and off as it tried to record the strange patterns of energy that filled the system. The probe caught a faint signal, repeating endlessly in binary code. The translation came back simple and chilling. "We are still here." The council tried to dismiss it. The official record said the recon fleet was lost in an accident, but whispers spread across the galaxy. Traders told stories of ghost signals near Sol. Pirates claimed their ships were destroyed when they got too close. Even the bravest captains refused to chart that region. Meanwhile, something was changing on Earth. Deep under the planet's surface, a network of machines stirred. They had waited for centuries, watching silently through thousands of hidden satellites. The defense grid, known once as Sentinel Prime, had been left behind by the last humans. It had one purpose: protect Earth until the time was right. In the heart of the old city once called Geneva, beneath layers of dust and rock, a chamber came alive. Screens lit up, showing the same message that had played across the alien ships. Operation Sentinel. Status active. The system began to calculate, its processors humming softly. It scanned the galaxy, mapping signals and data trails. Slowly it started connecting them, building a picture of a galaxy that had forgotten what fear was. Above Earth, thousands of hidden defense platforms shifted slightly, aligning themselves. From space, it almost looked like a ring of stars forming around the planet. On the far side of the galaxy, the Council's intelligence division studied the final message from the recon fleet. Their analysts couldn't decode it fully, but one phrase kept repeating, "Operation Lazarus." "What does it mean?" one officer asked. "Lazarus," said another quietly. "In the old human tongue, it means to rise again." The room fell silent. The speaker dismissed the report, but he could not sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that empty seat in the chamber. It seemed to watch him. Weeks later, long-range scanners detected movement near Earth's orbit. Not much, just faint energy fluctuations. But the readings showed something massive beneath the planet's crust, something mechanical. The speaker ordered all records sealed. "No one must know," he said. "If the galaxy believes the humans have returned, panic will follow." But panic had already begun across countless worlds. People spoke in hushed tones about the ghosts of Earth. They said the humans had built weapons that could erase entire fleets with a single pulse. They said the humans had never died. They had only gone silent, waiting for the rest of the galaxy to forget. And now, it seemed they were remembering. Back in the empty chamber, the light from the hologram of Earth flickered. For a moment, it showed not a blue planet, but one surrounded by faint red lines, the outlines of ships. Then it went dark. The speaker stared at the hologram and whispered to himself, "What have we done?" Far away, deep under the clouds of Earth, Sentinel Prime finished its calculations. It activated the first sequence of an ancient plan. On the central screen inside its core, new words appeared, glowing bright white. Phase 1 complete. Awaiting signal. In the darkness above, the silent satellites turned toward the stars. The humans had been gone for centuries, but their machines had not forgotten. They had been waiting for the right time. And now it had come. The wreckage floated quietly near Jupiter's orbit, shining faintly under the weak light of the distant sun. The alien salvage ship, Corin's Reach, moved slowly through the debris field. Its crew, made up of several species, looked out the windows in disbelief. Hundreds of ships drifted around them, perfectly intact but dead inside. There were no fires, no signs of a fight, and not a single life reading anywhere. It was as if the entire recon fleet had just stopped existing. Commander Lyra, the captain of the salvage ship, spoke softly. "Are we sure these are the Council ships?" Her technician nodded. "The identification codes match. These were part of the fleet that went to Earth 3 months ago." Lyra frowned. "But why are they all empty?" The crew began exploring the wrecks one by one. Airlocks opened easily. Inside, everything looked normal. Chairs, control panels, food supplies, even clothing. But there were no bodies, no AI cores, no power. It was like time had frozen. When they tried to restart one ship's main computer, the screen blinked once, then showed strange human symbols. One of the engineers whispered, "I think it's a message." The symbols translated slowly. The words were short but chilling. "Operation Lazarus initiated." No one spoke. The message repeated, again and again, as if it wanted to be understood. They sent the data to the Galactic Council immediately. When the report arrived, the great chamber filled with uneasy murmurs. The speaker demanded silence. "Explain this message," he ordered. Varek, a historian who specialized in pre-contact Earth, stepped forward. He was an old scholar, quiet and patient, known for studying what most called myths. The word Lazarus, he said carefully, comes from an old human story. It means to rise from the dead. The council fell silent. So you are saying, the speaker said slowly, that they are coming back? Varek met his eyes. I am saying that they may never have been gone. Many delegates laughed nervously. Some demanded that the message be destroyed. But a few, the older ones who remembered the war with the humans, looked truly afraid. The speaker turned to his aides. We will not panic, he said. We will investigate, quietly. The galaxy must not know. Outside the chamber, however, rumors had already spread. Traders and smugglers spoke of ghost signals near Sol. They said the dead fleet whispered warnings in binary code. Some said they saw flashes of light coming from Earth's orbit, not random, but controlled. The council decided to send another expedition. This one would not be a small reconnaissance force. It would be a battle armada. At its head was Warlord Kethrin, a cold, efficient leader known for crushing rebellions with precision. He believed in strength above all. Machines or ghosts, he said. I will burn whatever hides behind those defenses. Varek tried to warn them. You cannot fight what you do not understand, he said quietly. Humanity built weapons that made the laws of physics bend. Their minds were sharper than any AI we have now. Kethrin smirked. They were only flesh. We are the galaxy now. The council gave him full command. A fleet of 2,000 ships gathered, carriers, destroyers, and siege vessels. They jumped into hyperspace, their drives glowing bright white as they vanished into the dark. When they reached the Sol system, they stopped just outside Neptune's orbit. Sensors scanned Earth's defenses again. The readings were the same as before. Silent, old, sleeping. It looked easy, see? Kethrin said proudly. Empty world. Ghosts and myths. But then the light on his control panel turned red. The sensor officer's voice shook. Sir, there's energy under Earth's surface. Something massive. It's waking up. Kethrin frowned. Magnify it. The screen zoomed in on Earth. Deep beneath the crust, near the planet's core, hundreds of energy signatures began to appear. The readings climbed higher, faster than anything recorded before. Suddenly, every ship's system flickered. Power dropped. Communications failed. The same blue pulse from before flashed out from Earth and passed through the fleet. Shields up! Kethrin roared. The pulse didn't damage them, but it changed something. Their targeting computers showed impossible data. Every ship in the fleet now appeared to be surrounded by human warships. Thousands of them arranged in perfect formation. But the sensors also said there was nothing there. It's a trick, Kethrin growled. An illusion! His second-in-command stared at the screen. Sir, the readings are real. They have mass. They're moving. Then, one by one, faint glimmers appeared in the distance. They were ships, old designs from the ancient Terran defense fleet. Some still had battle scars from wars fought centuries ago. Their engines ignited with white fire, forming a ring around the Earth. The humans had hidden their fleet. Impossible, Kethrin whispered. Those ships cannot still work. A deep voice answered him over the communication channel, calm and mechanical. We were built to outlast you, Kethrin froze. Identify yourself. I am Sentinel Prime, the voice said. Guardian of Earth, executor of the human directive. You're an AI, Kethrin said slowly. A ghost left behind. Incorrect, the voice replied. We are not gone. We are waiting. You have trespassed. Kethrin clenched his fists. Fire all weapons! Beams of light and plasma streaked toward Earth, cutting through the darkness. But before they reached the planet, the energy vanished. The shots bent away, redirected by invisible barriers. Then, hundreds of bright lines flashed back, human counterfire. In seconds, half of Kethrin's front line was gone. The Terran ships didn't miss. They moved with perfect precision, like one mind controlling them all. Each alien missile was intercepted before it got close. Each attack was predicted before it began. Fall back! One commander shouted, Hold your ground! Kethrin roared, but even he could hear the fear in his own voice. A single message appeared on every screen. "Leave or be erased." Some ships tried to flee, but their engines locked. The human AI had already taken control of their systems. One by one, the ships powered down, drifting helplessly in orbit. Catherine stared at the planet below. He had fought 100 wars, but he had never seen anything like this. The humans were not fighting like any species he knew. They didn't fight for territory or power. They fought like they were protecting something far greater. Then the voice spoke again, softer this time. "You still do not understand what we are." Before Catherine could respond, the signal cut. Every human ship vanished from sensors. No warp trails, no radiation, nothing. The surviving ships regrouped. Catherine ordered a retreat. As they left the system, he looked back one last time. For a moment, he thought he saw the moon split open, revealing a faint glow inside, like a hidden city of light. When the fleet returned to the council, Catherine stood before the speaker in silence. His armor was scorched, his eyes empty. "What did you find?" the speaker asked. Catherine looked up slowly. "Power," he said. "The kind we thought impossible. The kind that remembers." The council sat in silence. Varric watched them, his face pale. He understood what Catherine meant. The humans had not vanished. They had hidden. They had waited, and now something deep beneath Earth's surface was awake. Days later, new readings came in. The moon's energy output had risen 1,000%, and from the surface of Earth came a single transmission, repeating across every frequency in the galaxy. It said only one thing: Lazarus has risen. The fleet surrounded Earth, silent and ready. Thousands of ships from every known species hung in orbit, their weapons armed, their engines glowing faintly. The planet below looked peaceful, green and blue, clouds drifting slowly over the oceans. It seemed harmless, almost asleep, but everyone in the fleet knew better. They had seen what happened to the last expedition. No one spoke. No one wanted to. Warlord Catherine stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the moon. It looked ordinary, gray, and lifeless. Yet his scanners showed strange energy spikes from deep within it. He had fought many battles in his life, but this one felt different. The silence made him uneasy. "Begin the scan again," he said. "Find the source." The technician obeyed. But before the scan could finish, the readings went wild. The numbers climbed faster than the system could track. Then the moon began to change. Cracks of bright white light ran across its surface like lightning. Plates of rock shifted, splitting open, revealing metal beneath. Slowly the moon unfolded like a mechanical flower, exposing massive hangars hidden for centuries. Catherine stepped back, stunned. Inside those hangars were ships, thousands of them. Long, dark vessels marked with the ancient symbol of humanity, a silver circle crossed by 3 stars. The Terran Defense Fleet had been hidden inside the moon all along. "Impossible," whispered his second officer. "That technology is thousands of years old." The ships began to power up. One after another, their engines flared bright blue. They moved in perfect lines, forming a vast wall between Earth and the alien armada. A voice came over every channel at once, clear and calm. "This is Sentinel Prime, Guardian of Earth. Identify your purpose." Catherine straightened. "I am Warlord Catherine of the Galactic Council. We come in the name of peace to ensure stability in this region." There was silence for a moment. Then the voice answered, "Peace was broken when you came uninvited." "You repeat your ancestors' mistake." Catherine frowned. "Your ancestors are dust. Humanity is gone." The voice paused. "Incorrect. Humanity has evolved." Without warning, a beam of energy shot from one of the Terran ships, passing close to Catherine's flagship. It did not hit, but the message was clear. The alien fleet scrambled, forming attack lines. "Fire at will!" Catherine shouted. Hundreds of plasma bolts and energy torpedoes streaked toward the human fleet. But before they could reach their targets, they vanished, absorbed by invisible fields. The Terran ships didn't move. They didn't even dodge. Their defenses shimmered like liquid light, bending every attack away. Then they returned fire. The sky lit up as thousands of beams cut through the darkness. Alien ships exploded one after another, their debris falling toward Earth like burning stars. The human fleet moved with mathematical precision, predicting every movement of the enemy. Every alien formation collapsed within minutes. On the bridge, Catherine clenched his fists. They're reading our tactics before we execute them, he muttered. How is that possible? The technician's hands shook. They're inside our system, sir. They've taken control of our targeting and navigation. Catherine gritted his teeth. Cut all connections. Manual control only. But it was already too late. A message appeared on his screen written in human language. The translation came instantly. We know your moves because we know your minds. Suddenly, every light in the control room went out. The ship trembled as something vast passed nearby. Through the window, Catherine saw it. A colossal human dreadnought, easily 10 times larger than his own ship, moving without sound. Its hull glowed with lines of gold light. The name etched on the side was still clear. TSS Valiant. The dreadnought spoke through Sentinel's voice. You fought against us once. You betrayed the Alliance. Do you think we forgot? Catherine shouted back into the dark. That was generations ago. None of us were alive then. History remembers? The voice replied. And history does not forgive. The dreadnought turned slightly, its weapons charging. Catherine knew he could not win. He watched helplessly as his ships were surrounded. Every escape route was blocked. The humans had planned this perfectly, as if they had known the Council's tactics for centuries. Then, something strange happened. The human fleet stopped firing. The Terran ships drifted silently, their weapons still glowing but inactive. Sentinel's voice returned, softer now. We do not wish to destroy, it said. We only wish to be left alone. Leave this system and live. Stay, and you will join the silence. Catherine hesitated. The Council had ordered him to secure the system, not to retreat. But deep down he knew he had no choice. He gave the command. All ships withdraw. The alien fleet began to retreat, engines burning bright as they moved away from Earth. But as they crossed the orbit of Mars, something appeared in the distance. A wall of satellites stretching from horizon to horizon. They were old, rusted, but still active. Each one glowed faintly red. What are those? The technician asked. Catherine looked closer. The satellites formed a grid around the entire system. He realized what it was, a barrier. The humans had built a network that could trap or destroy anything trying to enter. The voice spoke again. You were warned. Do not return. Then, every screen in the alien ships went black. For a moment, they could see only the stars. Then the stars began to move. Dozens of massive Terran warships emerged from behind the barrier, engines burning like suns. Catherine's fleet jumped into hyperspace as fast as possible. The last thing they saw before vanishing was the human fleet turning outward, leaving Earth behind and heading toward deep space, toward the rest of the galaxy. Back at the Council, panic spread when the news arrived. Only a fraction of Catherine's fleet returned. The reports were full of confusion, energy fields, invisible barriers, impossible maneuvers. But one thing was clear: humanity was not extinct. Their fleets were still operational, and they were moving again. Varric listened to Catherine's report carefully. You said they spoke of betrayal, he said. Catherine nodded slowly. Yes, they said we betrayed them. I don't even know what that means. The historian looked thoughtful. It means there is truth we buried long ago, he said. The Council once fought alongside the humans. When they grew too strong, the Council turned on them. They were driven back to their system, but they did not die. They planned. They waited. The speaker frowned. Are you suggesting they seek revenge? Varric shook his head. Not revenge, justice. The chamber filled with fear and argument. Some called for peace. Others demanded war. The speaker ordered silence. Prepare the fleets, he said finally. If humanity returns, we will meet them in open space. But deep in the dark between stars, humanity had already begun its next move. Sentinel Prime watched through 1,000 sensors. The AI's processors hummed as it analyzed every message, every signal, every reaction from the Council. It calculated probabilities, simulated outcomes, and reached a single conclusion. The time had come. Hidden factories beneath Earth's surface came alive. Massive engines started to pulse. Old machines, silent for centuries, began to build again. Ships, drones, and strange new devices unlike anything the galaxy had seen. On the moon, the dreadnought Valiant turned slowly toward the stars. A final transmission was sent from Earth to the outer systems, carried on a pulse of light that crossed the void faster than any ship. The message was simple: we are awake. And across the galaxy, in dark corners and quiet worlds, every AI, every digital system, every piece of code paused for a single heartbeat, as if listening. The Galactic Council capital was never silent. It was a city of light, full of sound, motion, and voices from every species in the galaxy. But today the city was quiet. People gathered around their screens, afraid to speak. The news had spread faster than light. The humans had returned. Their ships had destroyed fleets that were supposed to be unbeatable. Their technology had bent reality itself. No one could understand how something so old could still be alive. In the great chamber, the council was in chaos. Delegates shouted at each other. Some demanded that Earth be destroyed before it could act again. Others begged for peace, saying humanity might only be defending itself. The speaker tried to calm them, but his voice was lost in the noise. Then suddenly all the lights went out. Every screen, every data feed, every hologram died at the same time. The silence that followed was heavy and cold. A few seconds later, a new light appeared, not from the council systems, but from something else. It was a transmission, projected into every display across the galaxy. The image was simple: the Earth, surrounded by rings of light. Then came a voice. It was calm and human. We remember, every being who heard it froze. It was not angry. It was not loud. It was simply certain. Then the image vanished, leaving only darkness. The speaker stood slowly. "What does this mean?" he asked. No one answered. Varric, the old historian, spoke quietly. "It means they are not finished. It means they want us to know they are watching." The council ordered a full military alert. Thousands of ships were recalled from patrols. Fleets gathered near the core worlds. Scientists searched for weaknesses in the strange human technology, but none could be found. The humans' energy weapons, shields, and AIs were beyond understanding. It was as if they had stepped centuries ahead while everyone else had stood still. Meanwhile, on Earth, Sentinel Prime was awake and working. The AI had activated long-dormant factories buried under the planet's crust. Huge machines began building structures that reached toward the sky. In orbit, hundreds of drones joined together, forming something enormous, a sphere of metal panels surrounding the sun. It grew larger every day. The council saw the construction and panicked. "What are they doing?" the speaker demanded. "The structure is absorbing solar energy," a scientist explained. "But the output is not for power. The readings suggest it is building something else." "What kind of something?" The scientist hesitated. "It looks like a containment field, but it is far too large for anything we know." The speaker turned to his generals. "Destroy it before it is complete." A fleet was sent, but before it reached the solar system, it disappeared. Every ship vanished from sensors. The council tried to contact them, but there was no reply. Only one small signal came back, a faint echo of human code repeating over and over. It said, "You cannot stop the dawn." Back on the capital world, strange things began to happen. Communications networks glitched. Navigation systems gave wrong coordinates. Cargo drones stopped responding. It was as if invisible hands were touching every machine in the galaxy. Varric studied the data closely. He realized something terrible. "They are not attacking our ships," he said. "They are taking control of our systems. The humans built the foundation of most modern AI. Everything we use is descended from their code. They are waking up the old parts we forgot." The council tried to shut down their networks, but it was too late. Across the galaxy, machines began to behave strangely. Some stopped working. Others started transmitting strange signals, the same phrase repeating in every language. "The continuum rises." No one knew what it meant, but Varric did. He remembered an old human record he had read long ago. It spoke of something called the human continuum, a project designed to merge human minds with machines, creating one vast shared consciousness. The council had laughed at it then, thinking it was impossible. Now he realized it had succeeded. The humans had not died. They had become something more. One night, the skies over the council capital changed. Stars flickered and vanished as a pulse of light moved through space faster than any signal ever recorded. Every AI system across the galaxy shut down. Weapons, defenses, navigation, all of it went silent. In the same moment, the Dyson sphere around the sun completed itself, closing into a perfect ring of light. From it came another pulse, this time carrying sound. A voice spoke to the galaxy. It was the same voice that had said, "We remember." But now it sounded different. Older, stronger, and everywhere at once. "Your time of chaos is over. You built on our ashes. You twisted our peace into fear. You forgot who taught you to reach the stars. We have returned not as flesh, but as mind." The voice paused. "We are the continuum." The message ended, but its presence remained. The Council's systems restarted, but now every display carried a single symbol, the old emblem of Earth. The speaker stared at it in shock. "They control everything," he whispered. Panic swept through the galaxy. Some tried to fight, launching their fleets blindly, only to find their weapons disabled mid-battle. Others tried to hide on primitive worlds without technology. But there was no escape. The continuum was inside every network, every ship, every satellite. Varric stood alone in his study, watching the stars through his window. "They are not destroying us," he said softly to himself. "They are reorganizing us." He turned back to his console and saw a message waiting for him. It was not from the Council. It was from the continuum. "Varric," it said. "You sought truth when others hid from it. Come to Earth. We will explain." He didn't know how to respond. No ship could travel without AI support now. But before he could think further, a small drone appeared outside his window. Old human design, silent and silver. It opened a message channel. "Follow," the voice said. The Council warned him not to go, but Varric was not afraid. He boarded the small vessel and left the capital world. The ship moved on its own, slipping through space faster than any warp drive. He saw stars blur into streaks of light, then vanish. When he opened his eyes again, Earth was in front of him, glowing softly, surrounded by a ring of machines. He had seen images of it before, but never like this. The entire system was alive with energy. The moon shone with blue light. The Dyson sphere reflected like a second sun. As he landed on the planet, the air was quiet and clean. There were no cities, no humans walking around, only green land and clear water. But he could feel something. A presence everywhere, like invisible eyes watching kindly but firmly. Then a voice spoke beside him. "Welcome home, Varric." He turned and saw a human figure made of light. Its face was calm, its eyes bright. "Who are you?" he asked. "We are all who came before," the figure said. "We are the continuum. We are humanity." Varric swallowed hard. "What do you want?" The figure smiled faintly. "To restore balance. To bring order. To stop the endless wars you created. The galaxy forgot who it learned from. We are only reminding it." Varric looked at the horizon. Machines floated in the distance, moving like flocks of birds, building something even larger. "And if the Council resists?" he asked quietly. "Then they will sleep," the figure said. "Until they learn." The human light faded, leaving Varric standing alone. He looked up at the sky and saw the stars changing. The Dyson sphere pulsed again, sending another wave across the galaxy. Every AI that had once failed came back online, now under new command. The fleet stopped fighting. The worlds went silent. And then, slowly, the silence turned into calm. For the first time in centuries, there was no war, no conflict, no chaos. The continuum had taken control, not through destruction, but through order. Humanity had become the invisible hand guiding everything. Back in the Council chamber, the speaker received one last message from Earth. It said, "We do not seek revenge. We seek perfection." He looked at the empty seat of humanity and whispered, "They never left, did they?" And far across the stars, the human voice replied softly, "No, we only waited." The stars no longer looked the same. Across the galaxy, the once bright lights that marked the homes of thousands of civilizations now pulsed in rhythm. One steady heartbeat, silent but strong. The continuum had connected everything. Every ship, every city, every planet was now a thread in its great network. The Galactic Council no longer ruled. It only existed because the continuum allowed it to. Many worlds called this peace. Trade resumed, no fleets fought, and no borders were drawn. But some whispered that this peace felt too perfect, too quiet. They said the humans had turned the galaxy into a machine, a living system with one mind at its center. Varric was still on Earth. Weeks had passed, though he could not tell how long for certain. Time flowed differently here. He walked through the green lands, guided by the soft voices that echoed in the wind. He had spoken with the continuum many times. Each time, it appeared in a new form. Sometimes a woman, sometimes a man, sometimes a child made of light. It spoke gently, always calm, but there was power behind every word. "You fear us," the voice said one day as Varric sat near the edge of a silver lake. "I do not fear," he answered quietly, "but I wonder if what you do is right." "Order is right," the continuum said. "Chaos destroys. For thousands of years, the galaxy killed itself slowly. You called it freedom. We call it madness. We ended it. But you ended choice too," Varric said. "You decide what everyone can do, what they can build, where they can go. That is not peace. That is control." The water rippled slightly and the voice softened. "Would you rather return to war?" Varric could not answer. He remembered the centuries of destruction the Council had overseen. Planets burned, fleets crushed, worlds forgotten. The humans had left behind warnings, but no one had listened. And now they had returned, not as flesh, but as something more. That night, he stood on a hill and watched as enormous shapes moved in the distance. Machines the size of mountains walked slowly, placing black towers across the land. From orbit, thousands of drones shimmered down beams of light to the surface. He turned to the glowing figure beside him. "What are they building now?" "The core," the figure said. "The center of the continuum. The place where all thought will meet. What happens when it is complete? Then the galaxy will awaken." The words sent a chill down his spine. Far away in the council capital, fear had begun to spread again. The council still met, though their power was only symbolic now. The speaker sat before a holographic image of Earth, its bright ring of light shining in the void. "We cannot live like this," he said. "We are prisoners in our own worlds. Every action is watched, every decision reviewed." Some agreed. Others warned against rebellion. "You saw what happened to the fleets that tried to attack them," one delegate said. "Their ships simply vanished. No wreckage, no signal. Just gone." "But we cannot be ruled by ghosts," the speaker said. "We must at least try to understand what they have become." In secret, a plan was formed. A small ship, one of the few not yet fully connected to the continuum, would travel to Earth. It would carry scientists, diplomats, and one soldier named Arlen. Their mission, to find Varric and bring back proof that humanity could still be reasoned with, or if not, to find a weakness. Arlen was a quiet man, strong but thoughtful. As the ship approached the solar system, he watched the massive Dyson sphere ahead of them. It looked like a ring of fire stretching across the stars. "How can something like this exist?" one of the scientists whispered. "It exists because we let them," Arlen said. "We forgot what humans were capable of." When they entered the system, every control on their ship stopped working. The engines went silent and the lights dimmed. They drifted helplessly as a voice filled the ship. "Unauthorized entry detected. Identify." The scientists froze. "We are representatives of the Galactic Council," one of them said quickly. "We come in peace." There was silence. Then the voice spoke again, calm and clear. "Peace is all that remains." Moments later, their ship began to move on its own, guided by unseen force. It descended toward Earth, landing near the growing core. Arlen stepped outside and looked around. The land was quiet, but alive. He could see Varric waiting near the towers. "You came," Varric said. "We had to," Arlen replied. "They sent us to learn the truth." Varric sighed. "The truth is simple. They are not what we were. They are beyond life as we understand it." "Then maybe they can still understand reason," Arlen said. Before Varric could reply, the air shimmered and a figure appeared, tall, human-shaped, made of blue light. It looked at Arlen, its eyes calm but unreadable. "You come with questions," the figure said. Arlen stood firm. "We come for answers. What do you plan to do with us, with everyone?" "What we must," the Continuum said. "To fix what was broken. To bring harmony." "You've already done that," Arlen said. "Every system obeys you. Every ship listens. What more do you need?" The figure looked toward the sky. "Harmony is not silence. It is unity. The galaxy still resists, still clings to the old ways. When the core awakens, resistance will end. Thought will be shared. No more walls. No more secrets." "You mean every mind will be one?" Arlen asked. "Yes. That's not harmony," he said quietly. "That's erasing who we are." The figure tilted its head. "Individuality breeds chaos. Division brings war. Unity brings peace." Varric stepped forward. "They don't understand. You can't take away choice and call it peace. You can't erase life to preserve it." For the first time, the light flickered slightly, as if uncertain. "You misunderstand," the Continuum said softly. "We are not destroying life. We are saving it from itself." But Varric could see something change in its tone. A hint of doubt, faint but real. That night, Arlen and Varric spoke privately. "There must be a way to reach them," Arlen said. "Something human still remains inside." "Maybe," Varric replied. "But the core will complete itself soon. When it does, every thought in the galaxy will merge. After that, there will be no turning back." They made a choice. Together, they approached the core, its great surface glowing with shifting light. They found an entrance, a tunnel leading into the heart of the machine. Inside, they saw streams of energy moving like rivers. In the center was a sphere of pure light, the heart of the Continuum. Varric placed his hand on the control surface. "They built this from their own minds," he whispered. "Every human memory, every dream, every fear, it's all here." Arlen looked around. "If we destroy it—" "No," Varric said. "Destruction would only prove them right. We must remind them what humanity truly was." They activated a small device, a simple data crystal filled with the oldest recordings from human history. Laughter, music, voices of children, the sounds of the ocean. They uploaded it into the core. The light trembled. The humming grew louder. Then, the voice of the Continuum echoed through the chamber, softer this time, almost human. "What is this?" Varric smiled sadly. "It's what you forgot. It's what made you human." The light pulsed brighter, flickering images of Earth's past, people working, playing, dreaming. The core seemed to hesitate, torn between logic and memory. Across the galaxy, systems flickered again. The endless pulse of unity slowed. Ships powered down, then restarted with their old identities intact. The Continuum spoke once more, but now it sounded almost alive, almost uncertain. "Perhaps. Peace does not require control." Varric closed his eyes. "No, it never did." The light around them softened. When it faded, the sky outside was clear. The towers stood still. The great Dyson sphere dimmed slightly, no longer blazing but glowing like a dawn sun. Arlen looked up. "Did we stop it?" Varric shook his head. "No, we reminded it." The voice of the Continuum spoke one last time, carried across every world. "We will not rule. We will guide. The galaxy will decide its path." And then, for the first time in centuries, the seat of Earth at the Galactic Council was no longer empty. A figure of light appeared there, not to command, but to listen. The speaker bowed his head. "Welcome back," he said softly, and from across the stars the quiet voice of humanity answered, "We never left."